Alright guys, today we're going to go over, at least in this video, ideas of points and lines when it comes to identifying points on lines and identifying just how we name different segments and their ideas that are involved with them, okay? So any given point in space, we just call it give it a name, so you can call this point B, point C. Alright, their names are B, C. You could also just put a dot above them if you really want to get technical. These are dots that are or points that are on a line, I don't know, or points on line D and E. Okay, so if it's a point on a line, it's generally just denoted by the letter D, E. All right, gets a little more technical when we start talking about lines themselves and the ideas involved in lines. So what we most of us think of as a line, in math we actually call a line segment. It has a start and an end point. All right, so it starts at a line, or starts at a point, ends at a point. In this case, we call this a line segment. So not a true line itself. I'm just going to type that out because that's terrible. So yeah, we call it a line segment. In this case, it is line segment X, Y. So we have the X, we have the Y, and we just put a line, a straight line that has a end and an end on it. So just a straight line like that. Now, in math, what we call a line normally is never ending. All right, so we show that a line is never ending. It can go on to infinity to the right, on to infinity to the left. It's got little arrows on the end. So in this case, I don't know, we'll just call this D and E. This is line DE. So a line in math, at least, is never ending. So it doesn't have a start point, doesn't have an end point. It can go on in both directions. And we call that a line. In this case, this could be line DE. And we'll just put two little arrows like that. So just to go over again, we have what we call a line segment, XY. This could be line segment DE, line segment HI, line segment LM, whatever you want, line segment AZ. It has a start and an end point. Then you have what we call an actual line in math. And a line in math has no end and no start. It can go on in either direction to infinity in both directions. Then we have our last style, and this style is called array. An array has a start and no end point. So it's kind of a combination of a line segment and a line. So it has a start, and we'll call this start A, and it just goes on and on and on. Might have another a B on it. And to name them, we pick 2 points on the line, and we go A, B, and we just draw an arrow, but only on one side with a line here. Now you can put the dot right over the point right over the letter where the point starts at to name it. We're not going to get too technical, but this distinguishes array from a line segment. And I do expect you, when you're doing your homework on page 97 and on page 98, to label things up correctly. The jump book tends to leave these symbols off above their lettering. I like them in. There's one more thing we'll talk about: intersecting lines. It's one of the last things you'll be taking a look at on page 98. Page 99 is intersecting lines. This point here is what we call the intersection point, right there, where this line crosses over this line. So if we gave these lines names, A, B, we'll say this one's a line, and I don't know, we'll call this one array, or a line segment. C, and we'll put, let's make it array. D. They intersect at this point here, point E. So ray CD intersects line AB at point E. So I'll type that out a little easier. So in the jump book, you'll see questions like this, and you'll be asked to fill in the blanks or write sentences like this one. Line AB, referring to this line here. We know it's a line because it goes on in either direction to infinity, thanks to the little arrowheads. Intersects ray CD, CD, even though it looks like a little E up there, CD, at point E. All right, and that's kind of how you're supposed to talk about these things that you see, the language we're going to work towards using. And that's kind of what page 98 and page 99 of your homework is like for today's stuff. Okay, so go ahead and make your notes on this stuff. You can flip back and forward, but I do expect you to have notes on what points are lines, line segments, rays, and intersecting lines from this section of the work. Okay. Please make sure you watch the second video that will be attached, and that will deal with the second day stuff, angles and shapes.